I just want everyone to know I'm never doing a top 100 ever again. That is the last time ever. How's everyone doing? Sorry, I had a thing at the end of the day that I thought would take 30 seconds, end up taking half an hour. So apologies. You know how that goes, especially when you're trying to get out, you're trying to be done. Hey, Rich. Welcome, friends. Today, we're doing a live stream. You should come on, man. It's been a while. It has been a while indeed. The wrench turners are here. That's right. The wrench turners are here indeed. So I have the mic to automatically adjust. Can you guys hear me okay? Hello, Antonio. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. What are you guys wearing? It's actually, Benji says he likes my jacket. It's actually cold as hell in my office. So this jacket's going to have to come off whenever I do early impressions because it's going to have to go right here. It's going to have to go right here. On my wrists, on my elbows. So the jacket's just keeping me warm temporarily. It's 20 degrees out here in Texas. There's snow on the ground. There's ice on the roads. Work is officially shut down. And, you know, we don't have the people who come around in the little, you know, the little salt machine, what are those things called? I'm thinking of the Zambonis. We don't have the people go around in Zambonis and drop salt everywhere and clear the roads. So, dude, a little bit of ice in Texas and everything is shut down. And so for whatever reason, I built a wall right here on this side. So the office is like closed out. So it's enclosed because before it was like an open floor plan. And even though there's a vent in this room, it is cold as hell in here. So that's why I'm rocking the jacket, but it's going to have to come off whenever we do these early Amouage impressions for the first time. I just picked 4 out of the blue. There's a bunch of them that Allie sent me. I wonder if she can make it here. But she sent me the new Honor 43, which I'm really excited to try, even though it's a white floral. Rich Mitch's Nemesis. Bracken Woman, which I love Bracken Man, so this ought to be interesting. Bracken Man's one of the best modern fougères, I think, of all time. Dia Woman, which is a Jean-Claude Ellena. So I'm really excited about this one, too. And this is like right before he took the job at Hermes. And finally, Figment Woman. So I just recently got myself a bottle of Figment Man. So I'm really excited to try Figment Woman. And I love Figment Man. Figment Man's one of the best buys of last year for me. Dollar-wise as well. I got this for like 120 bucks, which is an absolute steal for this quality of juice. Let me catch up on the comments. And Michael John, welcome. Ah, Belam, very nice. What do you make of it, Michael? What do you make of Belam? Is it your favorite? It's many people's favorite, I think. Yes, congratulations to Eugene and are in order for sure. He's really accomplished something special. Very proud to be just a tiny part of that journey that he's on. That's me. What am I highlighting me for? I did just drop an early impression video, and the video cut out at the very end. So it happened to me again. I mean, the video cut off yesterday when I was doing my top, 100 irises, which I'll never do top 100 again. That's insane. And so, yeah, so the video cut out on me. And so I had to do a part 2 on the top 100 video. And then today, my scent of the day is this. It's a beauty. It's Exquise by Bortnikoff. This was sent to me by Scott from Germany. Thank you, Scott. Beautiful fragrance. I would reapply right now, actually, but it's so strong you just don't need to. It lasts forever. And so yes, I just did an early impression video on Exquise, and at the very end, I mean, literally a sentence or two away from being done, my phone rings, and when it rings, it just completely cut the video off, and I hate that. So instead of going back and doing the whole thing again, or just doing the last bit that was missing and making it a part 2, I don't know how to like merge 2 videos together like some people, because I'm technologically challenged. So what I did is I just wrote it into the description. I know that's terrible. It's probably terrible YouTube manners, but hey, Rachel, welcome. Welcome. Yeah, I'm never doing a top 100 again. Enjoy it. We need a Ram Duck collab soon. Good evening, Jonathan. Good to see you. Snowplow, that's it. We don't have a snowplow or a Zamboni for that matter. Maybe you can drive one down, Eugene. Bring us one from Canada. I don't think there's a single snowplow in the entire state of Texas. There's a park in front of me, and so the grass at the park, I can see out the window, looks like it's covered in snow, but it's really just tiny little balls of ice, That's Texas for you. Pure leather. That's a good one. I need to wear that soon. Yes, don't forget to lick the stream. Don't let your tongue get stuck to the metal, but do lick it. I own a full bottle plus shower wash. They have shower wash in Honor 43. Wow. That's right. Antea Sport Cologne. I saw your decant on Instagram today. Thanks for giving me a shout out. What do you think? What do you make of it? Is it everything I made it out to be? I think it's one of my favorite. I think it's my favorite sport fragrance of all time. Oh, I'm terrified. I'm not gonna like one of them or 2 of them. Thank you, my friend. Yes, that probably took me 5 hours altogether to set everything up, do the ranked list, type it all out, bring everything out, go through it, put everything away. Thank you, Antonio. Awesome. Appreciate that, my friend. I don't have a cool voice or anything to say thank you for the super chats, but I do appreciate it. Guerlain Heritage. One of my staples, one of my signature scents, if I had one. Teatro alla Scala keeps climbing my personal ranking every time I wear it. It is amazing, honestly. I think it might be my favorite feminine targeted fragrance from the 80s, or one of my favorite feminine targeted fragrances of the 80s. It is very, very good. That honeyed Chypre Oriental blend thing. It's kind of like, how Chypre Palatin is like a Oriental and a Chypre. That's what Teatro alla Scala reminds me of. It reminds me of a little bit Chypre, a little bit Oriental, but that honeyed civet. And I think the perfumer was a big name that they didn't list. I think it was someone like Dominique Ropion or something like that, because he did a couple Teatro alla Scalas, or he did a couple Krizias, sorry. And my thought is that only a perfumer with a true deft hand could make such a fragrance as Teatro alla Scala. I think it's great. I got like 4 bottles of the stuff. Yes, thanks for the reminder, Rick. You're gonna have to ingrain that into my head till I see Cuba Rick. Amouage Portrayal Man. Yes, I love Portrayal Man. I think it's so underrated. No one talks about this, by the way. And if you like 80s fragrances, Portrayal, so good. It's so that gasoline opening for the first 30 minutes is worth the price of admission by itself. The bottle's pretty kick-ass too. You can't really see it well because of the terrible camera, but it's like this oily, metallic, glossy thing. Just a brilliant bottle with the gunmetal cap. It's really, really good. The vetiver, the cade, kind of smoky. And that's talk about a fragrance that's moved up the charts. For me, that's one that's really moved up the charts. Cassandra is currently in transit. Let's just say there's bigger dent in my Bellon bottle, but LDE has a nice dent too. Yeah, that's good stuff, man. I'm in love with LDE. I also picked up Beloved Man. Next purchase will be epic. Ah, you're on a roll. At least you're on a roll with good perfumes, so I have to give you credit there. Do you have Beloved Man, or is it en route? Beloved Man is, you'll put a serious dent in Beloved Man once you get some warmer weather, unless you're in a space where it's always warm. But for me, I prefer to wear Beloved in like the spring and summer because it just has this fresh grapefruit. It's so posh too. It also feels like there's this vetiver backbone, which you don't get many vetiver amouages, you know. There's this vetiver backbone, and Ellena, if memory serves. Beautiful Ellena, one of the best Ellenas, actually. So it really feels like an amouage, but it just feels so classy and pleasant. Like some amouages, you're like, man, I really couldn't wear that to work. It could be too challenging. Like, I think this is one, I don't think I would wear this to work. I don't think I would wear a Figment Man to work, you know? Like that civet, that earthy, it's got this earthy soil, you know, wet soil complex, rooty wet soil feel with the civet. I think it's like a modern day Koros, this Figment Man. Doesn't smell necessarily like Koros outside of the civet, but it has that challenging DNA, you know? Beloved Man's the exact opposite. Beloved, you could wear this anytime, any place. You'll never offend. You'll smell different than everyone else. It just smells so pleasant, you know? So pleasant is the word. It's just such a pleasant, charming fragrance, but still interesting enough to keep people like us's attention, you know? I love Epic. Love Epic. I wish I had a vintage friction cap bottle. The Castoreum is legendary. Yes. Okay. So the thing about the sport cologne that many people don't realize is they think, well, first of all, a lot of people don't even know that Antaeus had a sport flanker. Like they are just oblivious to it. It only ran a couple years, I thought, but Armando showed me a bottle with a barcode, which means it ran at least into like the late 80s or early 90s. So there's that. And so first of all, not a lot of people even knew that it existed, number one. Number two, I think they kind of took the myrrh out. And whenever they took the myrrh out of Antaeus, I think that it left this, you know, the myrrh made it very resinous and made Antaeus thick. I just wore the regular Antaeus the other day. And the sport cologne, without that resinous bit to kind of make the fragrance feel thicker and murkier, it's like you can peer right into the heart of the Castoreum. It's unbelievable. Hey, Robes, what's happening, man? I'm watching some of your old videos, by the way. Glad to have you back. I love your old stuff, man. There's some serious gems on there. You should come on the channel one day. I'd love to have you on. Just pick your brain, chat. I'm going to turn the television off. We'll get CNBC off of the background. See my bottle of Desandras today? Agreed, has Devon vibe for the first 15 minutes or so, but the mid reminds me of a smokier Polo Green. Yes. So the first 15 minutes is Devon for sure. Eugene, have you sniffed Devon yet? Have you sniffed Devon yet? You have to sniff Devon. Just also because I think you'll really enjoy it. But I think you'll I think you will appreciate Antoine Lee's like mindset and how Dessandra's was created more if you sniff Devon. Hey, Flippo, welcome. No scent of the day today? Blasphemy, sir. Blasphemy, Andre. Purchased a bottle of This Is Him. Fantastic incense. This Is Him. Anique Menardo. I'm sorry, not Anique Menardo. Nathalie Lorson did to incense what she did to vetiver with Encre Noire for Zadig and Voltaire. This Is Him. Just a great designer, high class, you know, good quality ingredients, but very affordable incense. So I think you'll really dig it. Vintage gold, man, I haven't worn that in forever. I need to wear that soon. Vintage gold, man. How vintage? How vintage is your vintage gold, man? Oh my God. It's so powdery. Mine's one of the made in UK bottles, which turned into a little bit of a, they used to be derided. People used to hate the made in UK bottles back in the day. Remember, they only wanted the made in Oman bottles. And now that they don't do made in UK all of a sudden anymore, all of a sudden people want them. It's just funny how the wheels turn, you know? Bin Bowl by Pinewort. I don't think I've smelled that one yet, Flippo, but that's a house I'm really interested in getting to know more. What's the feelings on Gucci #1? Which one, Antonio? This one from 1976? The one made by Guy Robert, or the Gucci #1 from 2003, Michel Almarac? Which Gucci #1? Because there's a Gucci Pour Homme, the original #1 from 76. That's kind of more of a Eau Sauvage, Tiffany for Men, Chanel Pour Monsieur, that kind of thing. Finally opened my bottle of Van Cleef's SAR this week. Absolutely loved it. Fantastic. Green, spicy fougere. I love SAR. I'm so glad to have a vintage bottle. I've got to add a pair. I think it's add a pair. Add a par. That is the distributor. Thanks for dropping in, Paulus. Welcome, my friend. Yep. I just want to smell like LDE all the time. You know, it's that castoreum that I just crave it like I do Antaeus. I just crave wearing it. Yep. Overture and Bracken are absolutely amazing. You guys are on an Amouage kick today. Try layering Beloved and Portrayal. Well, Rick, I remember your name now for doing such a heinous crime against fragrance humanity. Do not ever layer. Yes, it is. You know, someone left a comment on here the other day saying they didn't find Figment challenging, and I was like, really? Say what? You don't find Figment, man, challenging? I can't imagine how someone wouldn't find this challenging. It's just straight earthy civet. It's like you took a civet, buried it alive, came back a month later, dug it up, rubbed it on your hands. It's so challenging. I think it's like a modern day Koros. Ah, very nice. Good to hear it. Potion Royal Black. I don't think I've ever even heard of that, Mark. I do not think I've ever even heard of that. Good evening, Dushan. Shop for Gold Man, bought one off Gift Express because I figured they would have an older bottle laying around. Received one with just gold written on the collar. I think it's dated to 2011. Very nice sticks. Very nice. My gold is also the one with gold on the collar, but I don't know how old it is. I don't really know how to date it. You can kind of see it right there. Yeah, you can see the gold. Just don't get the one that says gold in the front. I hear they butchered it. Someone wrote me a message the other day. They wrote me an email, and it was a decant of Jubilation. So they had Jubilation 25 for men. All right. And it was a decant, and they were like, "Are you serious? This is the fragrance you put as number one." They were like, "Did I get a fake, or did the new Amouage butcher the new stuff so bad?" And I was like, I honestly don't know. I've heard terrible reformulations about Jubilation, that it really only lasts a couple hours. They were like, it lasts 30 minutes on me. I was like, if that's true, that's a true travesty. Al Oud. It's a beautiful fragrance. Lots of cumin in the opening, but it dries down to classic Bertrand Duchefort. I think if I was going to have a fragrance done for me, I think I would want Bertrand Duchefort to be my perfumer. But I want him to do the Antoine Lee effect, you know, take his time, because he has made some stuff for some houses that I've never even heard of. Like, I've got a sample of his fragrance for Astrophil and Stella called Into the Oud. I still haven't even smelled it, but apparently it's supposed to smell like Oud for greatness. So I wouldn't want him to do some crap like that, but I'd want him to go back to the old days, you know, of Bertrand Duchefort, the stuff he was making 25 years ago. Tried Roja Elysium Parfum Cologne, Creed Neroli Sauvage plus Versace. I expected less than nothing and still feel disappointed. Oh, that's great, Paulus. Thank you. I actually have a... what do I have? I have a little decant here of the Extrait. I've got a little decant here of the Extrait that I've been kind of saving for it to warm up. The Pure Parfum. And it is nice. The Pure Parfum is nice. It's got that grapefruit, but it's that metallic blue thing that I just despise, and you smell it everywhere, you know, like Dior Sauvage, Bleu de Chanel, meets Aventus is what I got from this. I didn't get the Neroli Sauvage vibe, but then again, I've never smelled the Parfum Cologne version either, and I hate Versace Man Au Fresh. But I love Versace Man. No one talks about that one. But I'll do a video on Elysium Extrait de Parfum one day. Not that you guys are really interested in that, but... That's a fascinating assumption about Teatro and Ropion. Any clues on moods? I don't know about moods, but the reason I said Dominique Ropion is because it is out in the open that he made this one for them. He made Krazy Krizia just a couple years later. It was, you know, came out that he actually did make this one. And so Krizia, I think, had some really good perfumers working for them. I just don't think they always made it public who the perfumer was, and it's impossible to find. So I'm just guessing. And, you know, he did a fragrance in the mid-'80s called Satis de Givenchy. I've talked about it on my channel a little bit. And it's this huge chypre. There's a million notes. And, you know, if you take Satis de Givenchy and you maybe turn it a little bit more oriental, like he really went oriental here. But if you just turn that chypre a little more oriental and add that honey, that big dose of animalic 80s honey, which I love, and civet, you kind of get Teatro alla Scala. So it's just a thought. I mean, I don't know. It's probably not. I mean, I assume if he was okay with them saying he made, you know, Krazy Krizia, that he would also be okay with them saying he made Teatro alla Scala. But I honestly don't know. I honestly don't know who made it. But whoever made it, I think it's a big name perfumer. I don't think it's a rookie. That's some serious class, some serious skill to make Teatro alla Scala. They really did die, man. They just withered up on the vine and died. I mean, and what's crazy is I won't even buy their new stuff. Actually, we could do an entire video on niche houses that have just withered up and died. Amouage, even the new Rochas I'm very skeptical about. L'Artisan, MFK. I mean, Creed. I will not buy a new Creed. You know, and I know you loved Creed robes. I just go back and forth between robes and Mark. Don't ask me why, but I know you loved Creed, and I did too. They're kind of, when I think back to a decade ago when I really got started into fragrances, they were one of the brands that I thought so highly of, and it smelled like the ingredients actually mattered back then to them. Now, I mean, shit. I mean, that Royal Wind that they put out or whatever the hell it is, I mean, Jesus Christ, it's absolutely horrendous. So they just, you know, all of the niche houses, not just L'Artisan, but I don't trust any of them anymore. It's really turned into people buying it for the name, you know. Like, if I'm going to spend that kind of money nowadays, I would rather give it to someone like Dmitry Bortnikoff and buy this. Exquise. Exquise. I did a video. I just dropped a video on it before I came live. Or even these, you know, Russian Atom fragrances, which I unboxed recently. Antiquity is one such example. You know, that Ensar Oud I did a video on just the other day, EO #1. I would love a bottle of that. You know, if I'm going to spend that kind of money, at least I feel like I'm getting something with these. With with L'Artisan or Creed or Amouage or MFK, I don't feel like I'm getting that value add. You know what I mean? I do still feel like I'm getting it for a brand like Les Abstraits, even though they use the same. You know, you see Antoine Lee's name peppered throughout other niche houses. You know, it just feels like he was given free reign to be himself. There wasn't some crazy brief he had to stick to. So I think the niche brands can still exist, but they have to stand for something. I don't feel like anyone stands for anything anymore. You know, like, what does Creed stand for now? Can anyone tell me? I have no clue. So yes, that's my issue with them. And those old L'Artisans, like stuff like this, I absolutely love Zonka. Absolutely adore it. It's one of my favorite Bertrand Duchaufours. It's so unbelievable. I mean, that peony, that lychee, that incense. It's just unreal. And I have a couple more vintage L'Artisans coming, but I won't touch the new stuff. I won't touch the new stuff with a 10-foot pole. I mean, that collection they did that was supposed to smell like peas and lettuce or something. I mean, I have no clue what they're trying to do anymore. Do not layer, Rick. Layering fragrances is a sin. It's a crime against the fragrance gods, okay? That's just the end of it. I will not hear to the otherwise. Yeah, but even I do still think there's some good perfumers working at some of those houses, but I just don't know what they stand for anymore. Ambra Aurea, still haven't smelled that. I haven't smelled a single Perfumum Roma. Arso and Dulcis Infundo, both great, but Dulcis Infundo fades really quick. I go nose blind after 20 minutes. I've still never smelled a Perfumum Roma. I said batch code and repeats every 10 years, so I kind of figured, yeah, it must be 2011. Yeah, you're probably right. And that's, you know, that's about what you want. If you can get Gold Man from 2011, if you can get any Amouage from 2011 nowadays at a great price, you're fine. I mean, You don't need the the magnetic cap ones that, you know, were around when Christopher Chong was still the creative director. To me, those are perfectly fine. I don't need the friction cap ones. It would be cool to have a couple old friction caps. I do have one. It's Fate Woman, but they're so expensive and hard to find now. It's kind of like the malls with the matte caps. If you find a mall with a matte cap, the people know what they have, but you can still find malls that are pre-Estee Lauder, but you have to look at the way the verbiage is written on the bottle in the box. Make sure it doesn't say EDP France Holdings. If you can find some of the older stuff, even in the new, you know, shiny cap or whatever you want to call it, those are still gold. I mean, it's the pre-Estee Lauder stuff that you want anyways. It's just you got to know what to look for. Kid Kentucky, welcome, my friend. Hope you are doing well. A video on designers that died. That's right. We had Karl Lagerfeld just pass away a little bit ago. We had Rosen du Matu, the perfumer, who turned up into being a designer, having his own house. Yes, bravo, Rich. Yeah, tea for two. Congrats there. I'll tell you what, that tea from 5 o'clock Eau Gingembre, that Serge Luton tea fragrance has blown my mind. I think it might be my favorite tea fragrance ever of all time. I don't think I've smelled a tea as wonderful as 5 o'clock Eau Gingembre. It's perfect for me. I think I like it even better than Gucci Pour Homme too. Do you think it is best to discontinue a perfume if the reformulation changes the fragrance? That's so tough of a question, because on one hand, I want to say yes, but on the other hand, like, take a fragrance like Antaeus. I'm going to say my favorite fragrance of all time. If Chanel wasn't still producing that, even in the form they're producing it today, which is maybe not a shadow of its former self, but the, you know, Castoreum is definitely taking a hit. It's not what it used to be. Let's put it that way. Still a good fragrance. Chanel doesn't make bad perfumes, but then people nowadays would not be able to experience what Antaeus was, you know? So I'm kind of torn. I wish that the houses did a better job, maybe putting, like, I'll give you an example. So here's something that Zoologist does that I really appreciate, is they actually put the version. So like if you look at the back of Beaver, this is Beaver right here. It says 2016. There was a 2014 Beaver. And then when they changed the formula, they put basically like version 2.0, 2016. So they make it very clear which version you're getting. I really like that. I really think that's a smart move on their part. They're being open and honest about it. And it's easy to know, you know, that something has been changed. It's the covert little changes that bother me. You know what I mean? Where the bottle stays the same, the juice changes. Like, and sometimes blatantly changes. Like Dior Homme 2020 is a great example of that. They lived off of the Dior Homme name, and they completely changed the fragrance. That's just bullshit. Like, this is the only modern Creed that I have a bottle of. It's a modern bottle of Silver Mountain Water. Even this is, Himalaya. I'm sorry, Himalaya. Even this is a 2017 bottle, but it's in the new 100 ml format. This is completely different than the Himalaya that I had a 120 ml bottle originally, like a 2009 batch of this stuff. And it was almost holy. Like the opening, that sandalwood almost reminded me of church. Like there was a little bit of this like Catholic church opening, like when I was a kid, you know, and the priest would walk around with the incense shaker or whatever. There was just something about the way that the opening of the vintage smelled that's lost here. And I think it had to do with the ambergris. That's my guess. My guess is it had to do with the ambergris Creed was using back then. and the quality of the materials. Like, you know, you paid a lot of money for it, but back then Creed prices were high, but they weren't like they are now. You know what I mean? I mean, now they put their prices up so much where the prices have increased, the quality has decreased, and you're almost getting to this point where it's not worth it. You know, I'd just rather wear vintage stuff. I'd rather wear, you know, I got this for 40 bucks. This is one of the best powdery oriental. If you like, you know, if you like fragrances like Muscat Cartier, if you like Calvin Klein's Obsession for women or men, you know, you can find these vintages still floating around. I'd rather just pay for vintages. You know, that's the catch-22 that these houses have put us in. Yes, absolutely. I love Accord du Désert. I'm a big fan. I love the X-ray version. So here's the situation that I've noticed that I'm in. I've been given, maybe because of just, you know, maybe just because there weren't very many people like Rich and I that kind of came on the scene and were honest. There were so many channels that their whole mission statement was basically to say good things about the product, to get free stuff from the brands. And I think a year ago or so, when I came onto the scene, and maybe 16, 18 months ago when Rich started his channel, there weren't very many channels that were kind of doing what we were doing. And so because of that honesty, I feel like I got into this situation where people have given me so much stuff. Like, there's samples in this cabinet over here. You guys can't see. It's just filled with samples. There's samples up here. This box right here is nothing but samples. This Dom Perignon box. These two boxes right here are nothing but samples. And so I'm kind of in this situation where I'm doing a lot of videos, but it's not the stuff that I bought full bottles of, because in the back of my head, I'm like, you know what? I can do a video on Accord du Désert anytime. I have a full bottle, but I only have a decant. Decants dry up. They don't last as long, you know, and it's not something, maybe I won't get a full bottle of it, right? So I want to talk about it. I want to put a video out on the channel, like this Bortnikoff I did a video on today. He just sent this to me, but it's something that I was so excited to try. I couldn't wait. Like, I wanted to try it as soon as I could, like Ensar Oud's EO1 the other day. This is really good. I think this is his best work. I don't have a full bottle of. One of the best Bortnikoff I've smelled that I don't have a full bottle of yet. And so I want to put those videos out. Like, I want to put the videos out on things like that I don't have a bottle of. So, you know, there may not be a chance for me to talk about it again, kind of thing. But what it's turning into is it's turning into a situation where I'm doing a lot of early impressions on things that I don't have full bottles of, like these zoologists and stuff like that, which is great because I get to put my thoughts out there on something which I don't own. But on the other side of the coin, a lot of time is passing and I'm doing nothing but these early impression videos and lists and stuff like that. And I'm not talking about the things that I loved enough to get full bottles of. So I'm kind of in this catch-22, you know what I mean? Where I'm wearing a lot of new stuff. I'm talking about a lot of new stuff. I'm learning about a lot of new stuff, but I'm not really talking about the stuff that I love enough to go buy the full bottles, if that makes sense. So that's kind of the catch-22 that I'm in. And I don't really see a way around it, unfortunately, unless I just make it a point. Like, if I was going to do a review of this, I would want to wear it. Like, maybe even if I only wore it as my scent of the day once or twice again, I would want to wear it like to bed a couple times, you know what I mean? And really focus on it. And you know, that kind of thing. And that takes time, and that takes, you know, that means not as many videos. And so it's that you got to balance, you know what I mean? It's that balancing act. But thank you, Paulus. I will. I'll hopefully talk about Andy Tower more. I love the House of Andy Tower. Hope everyone's well as well, Stephen. Ah, Mythsman, a beauty. Does it feel a little bit like Interlude Man to you? Like the way that the fragrance wears on your skin, the texture, the way it feels? Hey, y'all. Welcome, Ecstasy Boy. I think you're new to the channel, aren't you? Glad to see you here. Tea for Two and Zing. I've never smelled Tea for Two, but I do have a bottle of Zing, and I do really like it. I like Zing for sure. Unboxing this week, hopefully. Nice. Very nice, Rich. That'll be great. I've got a big unboxing coming. It's actually already here. I just can't get to it because the roads are completely iced over. We don't have our snow plows here in Texas, and I won't be able to make it. I don't have any snow skates, but it's at the P.O. box ready to go, and it's a very highly sought after vintage perfume from someone in the chat, actually. I'll say who when I unbox it. Probably it'll be like Thursday or Friday. Might be Chanel La Pausa EDP. I haven't smelled that one yet, Perfume Perry, but very few houses do Iris like Chanel, so you can't go wrong there. Selling my Zonka. Rich, I'm going to have to start a GoFundMe for you. You're starting to worry me. I'm going to have to take a trip to England, give you a big hug, make sure you're okay. What's up, all? We'll mostly be lurking in the shadows for this one as I'm working, but greatly enjoy Ramsey's soothing vocals. I plug away. Scent of the day, Sandor 70s. I did a video on that, Tony. Welcome. Welcome to being a lurker. Nothing wrong with that at all. Just like the stream first. Abbey Rouge EDT. Absolutely brilliant. One of the best masculines of all time. Serville à l'Aube. Great artisan, too. I don't think I've smelled that one, Carls. Speaking of skanky 80s feminine, I'm not sure I've heard you mention Paco Rabanne La Nuit. Yes, I do. It is very, very close. I'll tell you, there's 4 fragrances from the 80s that all play in the same sandbox for me. One is Ungaro Diva. Okay. Jacques Polge did this a year before he did Chanel's Coco, right? And then I think after Chanel's Coco came, let's see, came Paco Rabanne La Nuit. And after Paco Rabanne La Nuit came the one we've been talking about today, and my personal favorite, Teatro alla Scala. And the reason this is my favorite of the bunch is because the honey, which I love honey. Honey is one of my favorite notes of all time in perfumery. The honey and the civet are just like a master class in how to use honey and civet in a chypre construction. So it has that chypre. It's like chypre meets oriental, but 80s style. Imagine an 80s chypre palatine, right? That's Teatro alla Scala. I absolutely love it. People love it on me. I get great feedback when I wear it. Which I do adore Teatro alla Scala. And I scooped these up for very cheap before the price went crazy. So I feel very fortunate that I got these at such a great price. So very, very lucky. And look at this bottle. The name, the opera house at Scala, I think is what that basically translates to. But yeah, all 4 of those, Ungaro's Diva, Chanel's Coco, Paco Rabanne La Nuit, and Teatro alla Scala all play in that same sandbox to me, GMG. If you love that style, yes, I think Paco Rabanne's La Nuit, the night, is worth splurging on. But honestly, I prefer Teatro alla Scala if you really want to save some money. If you have Teatro alla Scala, I don't think you need it. Serville à l'Aube is a masterpiece. A masterpiece, Dushan. Wow, I need to smell that. Fumitis is my latest Roma, and it's smoky heaven. I know you love smoke, Robes. I'm going to tell you to go check out Les Abstraits de Sandra's. Go check that one out. I don't have it with me. It's under lock and key. I can't pull it out and smell the atomizer. But from memory, lovely, smoky, masculine dry down. I think you'll really enjoy that one. You could do a video on YouTubers who are dead inside. Oh, it's good stuff. Might be. Who's number one? Please do tell me in the chat. I have a bottle of Green Irish Tweeds, maybe 15 years old. Doesn't smell the same to me. Do colognes go bad? Normally you're fine for 15, 20, even 30 years, you're fine. There's stuff I've got 40, 50 years old, it's fine. But creeds are weird, dude. I'm telling you, creeds are weird. So it's possible. Yeah, creeds. I've had 4 bottles turn on me in my entire collection of doing this. 3 of them were creeds. 3 of them were creeds. You know, one was Obsession for Women, which I hear that one also turns very quickly. So be careful with vintage Obsession for Women. I see Redolescence in my mind now. Someone sent me a thing about Redolescence, and I'm not a hater or anything like that. You know, to each their own. You do your own thing. I'll stay in my lane and do my thing. There's more than enough people that like what I do. I don't have to do what you do. I'm that kind of person, right? But there was someone who sent me something, and it was like, one day he was reviewing like a fragrance that had like a red, you know, bottle packaging, and his contacts were red. His eyes were red. And then the other day he was reviewing a fragrance that was like a blue bottle, and his eyes were blue. And then the next day he was reviewing one, it was like green, and his eyes were green. And I was like, what the fuck? Is he like going in there and like changing his contacts, the color of his eyes on the computer? Or is he putting in colored contacts? Or am I just tripping? I smelled that Abbey Rouge Le Instinct Intense recently. Got a full blast of Wet Dog. Man, it's so sad to see what Guerlain has turned to. Yeah, Creeds don't. That's the thing. Creed, I've never seen a house turn so fast. All right, let me get one of these on my skin first while we're chatting. I'm going to take it off. Hang on. All right, let's get Honor 43 on my skin. Actually, I'm going to save that one for last because that's the white floral. Let's get Bracken Woman on my skin. Let's see. Bracken. Let me write this down or I'll forget. Bracken Woman, left wrist. All right, let's do this. Come on, Bracken Woman. Be good, baby. Let's give her a second. Let her warm up a little bit. Bring her in from the cold. Oh, that's fresh. Wow, that's very fresh. Citrusy, fresh opening. Fruity. Citrusy, fresh, fruity. Slightly spicy. Almost licoricey. What the hell is in Bracken? It almost smells like it's turning into a fougere under my nose. I like that. I really like that. That's that would be great in the warm weather. Oh wow. Let me look it up. Are you guys familiar with this Bracken Woman? Let me catch up on the comments. Anyone like Tower Sundowner for summertime? I was thinking Sundowner for fall, but because I mean, if you take a look, it's got this fall-like, you know, imagery, and it really does smell like fall because it's got that tobacco, hay, cacao, orange zest thing going on with that Andy Tower ambergris. You know, his little Andy Tower's trick is the Tower Odd is his version of ambergris. It replaces ambergris. So I don't think it's real. I think it's synthetic, but it smells so beautiful, so lovely, that it basically can replace ambergris. So yes. Enjoy. I wish I got to watch hockey still. We don't get the Stars here anymore. I only get one fragrance channel. Yeah, that's me. I only get one channel that carries the Stars, and my provider, the only provider that I can get, basically nix that channel, can't own it. So yeah, that's the thing. You just got to be careful with creeds. But the problem with the creeds, Ecstasy Boy, is that the new stuff is shite, in my opinion. So you can't buy the new freshest stuff because it's terrible and it's been reformulated. You want the old stuff because that's when it's good. But you can't go too old because creeds turn very quickly. So you're just in this perpetual loop, you know? Would you rather have Serge Chergui? Oh my God. You can't ask me things like that, man. I probably would have said Chergui a couple months ago, but 5 o'clock Eau Gingembre has blown my mind. Like, I absolutely love it. It's one of my favorite surges all of a sudden, like just rocketed to the top. Not to the top, because Ombre Sultan's at the top, along with Feeling Aguil, but it's up there with the big boys. I much prefer it to things like, you know, Baptiste de Feu and stuff like that. So, and I've got a Serge Lutens haul coming very soon from a friend, Anthony Salvador. He reached out on Instagram and said he's been in the fragrance industry 30 years and he wants to send me some stuff. And so we'll do an unboxing. I'm going to invite him on a live stream. I would love to have him on while I do the unboxing so he can talk. I'd love for him to talk to us and explain who he is, what he does. I posted a video or an image, I should say, on Instagram about this, which is one of my favorite Gerard Anthony's of the 80s, called Iquitos. And he left a comment saying that he launched this fragrance when it came out, whatever that means. I don't know what that means. I don't know if he was involved in it or if he was saying, like, I personally launched it, but he said he launched it. So I would love to have him on and tell us a little bit more about his story. I have not tried Shen, but I think it's in the haul that he's sending me. So we'll see. He is fantastic. Like Robes 08, there's two people that influenced me. Two main, three main people who influenced me initially before I started commenting on like Eugene's stream and stuff like that. There was Chris from Scentland, AC from the channel Smells Good, and Robes 08, Mark. Those are the three people that really like influenced my taste early on. Mark, I've noticed, likes a lot of the designers. He likes stuff that I don't like that are a little bit sweeter. We have different tastes. He never really dove into the real oud stuff. You're not going to hear him talk about Arise Ladore, Bortnikoff, Ensar, that kind of thing. He tends to stay more with, you know, Versace, Oud Noir, Pour Homme and stuff like that, which is nothing wrong with that at all. But we have kind of slightly different tastes. He likes Le Male. It's a little bit sweeter. I hate Le Male. But as far as influence goes and the way that he breaks fragrances down, you know, if I'm anything close to the way that he does it, I think I'm close to the mark, because that's how close to the mark, you know, that's how it should be done. I mean, he does it right, especially his old videos. His 30 or 40-minute full reviews are just masterpieces. They're artwork. And he's been doing it forever. Nikki, welcome, man. Good to see you. Thanks for sending me some stuff too, by the way. I can't wait to get it. That's what I'm talking about. You guys have been so kind. Like, there's so much for me to learn. Fuck, I wish Rich could ship to the US. I'd buy that off you, Rich. Seriously, why are you selling Zonka? I'm beginning to question your sanity, Rich. I need to come give you a hug. We need to have a sit down. Listen, nothing gets done without a sit down, Rich, okay? Nothing gets done without a sit down. If you don't have a sit down, you don't have anything, all right? So don't make any rash moves. Wait right there. I'll be there in about 18 hours, okay? Just wait right there. Don't move. Don't do anything rash. Ah, Le Lion. It is absolutely amazing, Pat. I completely agree. I've probably worn it 4 times since I've probably worn it 4 times, I would say, since I bought it a couple years back. But I got a backup recently, so I feel more comfortable wearing it now. But it is fantastic in the cold. It's actually fantastic in the heat, too, but it is big. It's loud. But I love it. I think it's I think Le Lion is one of the best labdanum heavy fragrances of all time. And I love labdanum. It's one of my favorite notes. Nice. I'm glad you got some OG Timbuktu left. I love Zonka, man. I couldn't imagine selling, especially the vintage. It's so good. And you know you're never going to find it again because the new L'Artisans are kind of like buying a new Creed. You just can't do it. Our Equipage Uranium is not on the Hermes site. It's wiped out all over the internet. Only a few bottles left on eBay. None at discounters. People have been asking that a lot. Get yourself a bottle if you can, man. I actually prefer Equipage Geranium over vintage Equipage. It's one of the few times people keep asking me to do videos where the modern version is better than the, vintage stuff. For me, I enjoy wearing Equipage Geranium more than I do the vintage Equipage, which I think I have right here. Yeah, this is the vintage. This is I think one of the original bottles with the crazy wheel cap. If you've ever seen the advertisements for vintage Equipage, they are like a bunch of guys like on a rowing team, and it's so challenging for me, like especially the opening. It starts off so just the mixture of spices, just the mixture of spices, and it just feels so strange. I don't know. I struggle with it. I don't necessarily hate it. I just don't love it. Whereas I really think Jean-Claude Ellena did a lot to bring Equipage Geranium into the, into the modern era. Le Leon, I'm the king of the jungle. Tiger Lust. Am I a joke to you, dude? Tiger Lust is honestly one of the most beastly fragrances I've ever smelled. It's so good. Where is Tiger Lust? It's hiding. Here it is. Yes, Tiger Lust, man. If you guys ever get a chance to smell one Ensar and you like my taste, this is probably my favorite. Tiger Lust is my favorite. This is something Robe should smell because he loves smoky perfumes. This has this unbelievable smokiness to it with animalics. It's just like animalics, smoke, and like 5 types of oud. It's so good. It is so good. Shout out to Thomas from Early Greek for this one, man. Good job. Fantastic, Sticks. Good to hear it. Equipage Geranium is unbelievable. The sandalwood in Equipage Geranium has this like cyclone quality to it to me. Like it's constantly moving and shifting under your feet. I mean, I think it's some of Jean-Claude Ellena's best work. Bracken Woman for Spicy Human. Bracken Woman, I got to look up the notes on this one. There's something fresh. Now that it's drying, I don't like it as much as I did. I said fruity. It's actually wild berries. What is bracken? Containing the note of bracken. There's one other fragrance that uses bracken, and it's called Bitter End by Rhodes. I don't know what the note of bracken is, though. Definitely green. It's definitely floral. It smells like it smells like there's a lot of narcissus and maybe just a hint of leather. I don't know. I definitely got the berries in the beginning and the freshness, but I don't know what that bracken note is. If anyone knows, let me know. When Steven reviews a Dua, he wears his $sign. Oh, man. That is funny, Mike. That is funny. All right. You can retire. You can go watch your Leafs lose, dude. That was a great one. Due to your rave reviews, I recently got 25 million. Loving it. Such a grand and dense fragrance. I feel like I smell like Delta Burke's hair in the days. Dude, it is amazing, honestly. All these people who go on and on about these niche fragrances and how amazing Xerjoff and Parfum de Marly fragrances are. I wish I could just stick Teatro alla Scala under their nose and they not know what they have. they would have an aneurysm. They would have a conniption right there on the floor. It's amazing what a brand can do when their creative director isn't named after a fish. Yes, that's right. You're exactly right. Fish should not be creative directors, Benji. It's clear. All signs point to no fish. Ajay, welcome. By the way, I didn't get a chance to mention it in my review today of Bortnikoff's Exquise. However, your Rochas actually kind of gave me a little feeling of Exquise in the dry down. I wrote it because the video cut out at the end, so it's like a cliffhanger. It's like a cliffhanger of a video at the very end. But what I wanted to say at the end is thanks to you and your Rochas gave me a little bit of the feeling of Exquise. That rooty, earthy feeling. I definitely think there's some Rochas in Exquise, by the way. So shout out to you for this, man. Really, really kind of you. Very kind of you to share this. This is good stuff. Mike V. So he is Red Lessons, Blue Lessons. You guys really took that and ran with it, eh? Ombre de Coco. Well played, my friend. I need to review those. Yep. Benji roasted salmon indeed. Greetings, Norwin. Bracken Woman's good. It's very fresh. This would be beautiful in the warm weather, I think. Although there is something that adds some heft to it. You know, there's a little bit of this heaviness in the base. So it's fresh, but it's contrasted with maybe some heavy patchouli or not as dark as Rochas, but probably some vetiver. There's a birch note listed, which I'm not getting very much smokiness right now. I'm getting a lot of the freshness of the berries. I wish I knew what that Bracken note was. Scent of the day, Roja Semi-Bespoke 25. Seems like Roja actually uses fecal oud in his side Roja doves. Interesting. I've got one of those semi-bespoke fragrances, or is it HDP? I can't remember, but I've got one. Let's see. Which one is it? Roja Semi-Bespoke 15 is the one I think I have. Can't remember. I'll have to look. There's a decant of some hard-to-find Roja out there I'll do a video on one day. I take a hug. Had an awful week. That sucks, man. Sorry to hear it. We're snowed in, so I can't really have a bad week. I'm just at home hanging out with you guys, which I love doing. So don't make any big decisions right after COVID. That's right, Rich. Look, just get off of the ledge. It's okay. Zonka loves you. All right. Just give it some more time. God. So good. I love Zonka. I love Bertrand Ducheffour's work, though, to be fair. If you don't like his work, I could completely see why you wouldn't like Zonka. Le Leon is shite. Them are fighting words, Rich. Rich, I will give you myrrh and tonka for the bottle of that Zonka. Myrrh and tonka. Bellam 7 spray. Honestly, Bellam deserves 7 sprays. Do you get this saltiness in the mid? Joe Malone, Myrrh and tonka. I actually have never reviewed a Joe Malone on this channel, but somebody sent me a Joe Malone mini. And it is Myrrh and tonka, believe it or not. So I'm going to review this one day because this actually sounds like maybe the only Joe Malone that's worth a shit. I don't know. I've never smelled her other stuff, so I can't talk. This is Joe Malone, Myrrh and tonka, Cologne Intense. It's a little 9 mil mini. How cool is that? You know, for a brand I don't really care about. I'll be interested to do a video on this one day. People keep talking about it. It keeps coming up. It must be her best work. Someone also sent me, actually I have 2 Jo Malones I could do videos on. Someone sent me wood, sage, and sea salt sample. So yes, see, and that's what I'm talking about. I have all of these samples. Like, I'll never own a bottle of wood, sage, and sea salt, but I would love to put a video out on it. So what's happening to my channel is all of these early impressions are like stuff I'll never own bottles of, and I'm not talking about the stuff I love enough to buy full bottles, you know? I'm in this, like, vortex. I can't get out of it. But geranium is gone. That hurts, but Bel Ami Vetiver is the better of the 2, to be fair. Scent of the Night is Volutes. So glad I finally got my hands on it. It is beautiful, isn't it? It's probably one of the better diptyques. Someone said in the EDT that the tobacco is turned up more. It doesn't have that thick ambery base that the EDP has. The EDT is discontinued, but it also has that iris, like I said, in the video yesterday, that just makes it wearable in more than just the cold. Like, it doesn't really have the legs to go for the real cold, but if you get mild cold weathers, I would say Volutes EDT is beautiful for temperature like that. Let's see what else you guys are saying. Can someone please mention one major niche, not indie or artisanal house, that still does excellent fragrances in 2023? Major niche. Shit. That's a good one. My silence speaks volumes. Major niche house that still does good fragrances in 2023. Not artisanal. Niche. Honestly, I can't say one. Creeds went down the shitter. Roja, I don't trust anymore. Amouage, I really don't trust anymore. Diptyque, I mean, you know, who else? Let me look up my Parfumo profile. Let's see, collection. Aqua de Parma, I don't trust anymore. Hermes giving up their whole collection. Basically, I think they're all pretty much being discontinued, I heard. Bond number 9. Nope. I don't really I really don't trust that Bois 1920 anymore after that whole EDT, EDP fiasco Rich had. Caron still makes okay fragrances. I mean, I would probably say Chanel. I mean, the Chanel less exclusives I still kind of trust. Dior, I mean, the old Dior's that I love, like Dior Homme, the 2005 Silver Stem and all that stuff, I already own. Frederic Malle, I don't trust anymore. I'm looking for the old versions of. Francesca Bianchi, I'm not really a fan of her work. Guerlain is, you know, again, the old stuff is better in my opinion. Hermes is okay, although I wouldn't put them in the niche category. I don't know. I think you've stumped us on that one, Paulus. Many of the Elie Saabs are fantastic. Never smelled an Elie Saab. I've never smelled an Elie Saab. I've never smelled a Parfumum Roma. I've never smelled a Roman Monegal or whatever they call it. And I've never smelled a Oriza Legrand, the one that does Chypre Mousse. There's like 4 big brands right there I've never smelled. Santa Maria Novella, but someone said their new La Iris is kind of shite. So, yeah, I would want the old vintage foil, gold foil label. I think it's just we got to find the old stuff. This Bracken Woman is really nice. It's very berry-like. The berries are very prominent on my skin. Very, very prominent. La Tisane, I don't trust anymore. Les Indemodables, there's one. I trust Les Indemodables still. Maybe you wouldn't count that as a maybe you wouldn't count that as a major niche house palace, but Les Indemodables for sure. Les Abstraits does not count. Yeah, I was going to say Les Abstraits and Les Indemodables you can bunch into one thanks to Remy. Rochas Femme, beautiful. Rochas is still a good house. The fruits in Bracken Woman aren't too sweet. Are they heavy? The fruits are not too sweet. There are musks, but it's lighter. It seems like the heavier notes are coming from maybe a little bit of patchouli and vetiver or something like that, a touch of leather. But it feels like it actually complements Bracken Man nicely. Bracken Man is much more traditionally fougere. It kind of does its thing with that big clove note, but this is very good. This is really, really nice. There's almost like a slight, there's a note in here that reminds me a little bit. So in texture, maybe this will give you an idea. In texture, Rachel, you could think of Reflection Man. You know, not in smell necessarily, because Bracken Woman has much more, you know, of that berry quality. And even though it says it's a top note, I'm getting it a lot even now with florals. So berry florals. The florals are lily, narcissus, and chamomile. So it does smell unique. But there's something in here, Bracken Woman, that reminds me a little bit of the way that Reflection Man kind of smells on the skin. You know how you get that the musks in here, I think, kind of give off this slightly like clean, fresh vibe. That's a little bit of what I get from Bracken Woman. I like it. I like it. It's very good. I don't think I would go for a bottle, but I could say it's good. I would say this would smell amazing in the heat, not in 20 degrees like today. It's probably made more for spring. You know, you'd wear it on the same days you would wear something like Chanel No. 19, that kind of thing. Rochas Femme is fantastic. Thank you. Good to hear it, Norman. It really is. All versions are fantastic. I have the vintage Parfum de Toilette, and I'm in love with it. It's actually a fragrance you could throw in the same ballpark with Chypre Palatin and Teatro alla Scala we were talking about earlier. It's got that thick, you know, this is much more plum, and but it's got that thick Chypre Oriental blend, you know, kind of like Chypre Palatin and kind of like Krizia Teatro alla Scala. Scent of the day, Eyes Closed by Byredo. There's another house I don't trust, Byredo. I actually own 0 bottles of Byredo. I've never smelled it, though, to be fair, Sepher, so I can't talk bad about it. But, there you go. Preemptively answered your own question. I own a couple decants, but no full bottles. I actually have a decant of Bal d'Afrique. I would love to do a video on one day, but I'm kind of waiting for the weather to turn. Only good Malone is the only good Malone is Myrrh and Tonka, eh? Interesting. Well, I can't wait to talk about it. It smells good from the atomizer. I enjoy, but I really love Myrrh. Tonka is a note that can be hit or miss for me, but Myrrh is a huge love. Do you have any Balenciaga Pour Homme minis? You don't own any Balenciaga Pour Homme minis. You could, whenever you do your mini collection, that could be something to hunt for, Rich. Those would be cool just as a collector item. Fig is a note I'm really interested in. Only true fig fragrance I've smelled are Dune and Ferragamo Pour Homme. I strongly prefer Ferragamo. It's very in your face, while Dune is very light and airy. Yes, it is. They're both good. I can't say there's really any fig fragrances I really love. Like, I never got into fig. Like Mark from Robes 08 channel, who was here earlier, he loved fig. He would buy stuff like Figuier and he would buy these fig-heavy fragrances, Philosophos and all that stuff. I never did the fig route. There's some fig in some fragrances that I like. Like, for example, believe it or not, there is fig in this. There's fig in Roja's Fetiche. Believe it or not, there's fig in here. But that's how I like the fig use, like as a note that just kind of rounds everything off to take your attention away a little bit from the leather and the incense and stuff like that. That's how I like fig. I have yet to find a fig-based fragrance, like a real fig fragrance that I love. I like fig kind of as a secondary or even third note. But the fig in Fetiche Pour Homme is very nice. All right, let me spray the second one, and then I'll catch up on the comments. So we did Bracken Woman Left Wrist, and it is very nice. There is something, the freshness reminds me of Reflection Man for some reason. But with, you know, different notes in different places, it's very interesting. All right, so Bracken Woman was left wrist. Right wrist, we will do, how about Dia Woman? Dia Woman, right wrist. All right, let's see what we get here. Come on, Dia. Aha. Dia Woman, on you go. Oh, that's nice. I can smell it in the air. I don't even have to put it up to my face. That is nice. Man, I got this olive oil hit to my face for some reason. That is very nice. You know, it maybe because I know what Dia means, but there's also something about this that has this feeling of like a light. Like, I've always thought Dia Man smelled a little bit like this. It has this candle-like effect, like this warmth of a candle. And it feels like Dia Woman has that as well. I'm getting musk. I'm getting some musks and florals, but it's very soft. I think this is when Jean-Claude Ellena was really in his maybe not minimalist stage, but you know, he said he didn't like that word, minimalist, but I'm not getting a lot from it right now. Maybe I need to let it dry a little bit more. Definitely a little bit powdery, which I think Dia Man was also slightly powdery. There's a fig note. Speaking of fig, there's a fig note in Dia Woman. I don't get it, though. I'm not getting much. I can still smell everything else. I'm just not getting much from Dia Woman yet. Maybe I just need to let it dry. Maybe that violet leaf is just making it kind of ozonic. You know, this ozonic violet leaf with fig in the opening is kind of what I'm getting with musk. The musk feels almost like you can spread it, if that makes sense. Like it's like spreadable musk, you know? Like you can put it on a bagel. Interesting. I'm going to let that sit for a little bit. Yeah, I don't have very many, to be honest with you. You can try this Dia Woman. It was meant to be. You're talking about fig, and bam, I spray something on that had fig in the top note I didn't even know about. But so here's the notes for Dia Woman. Cyclamen, bergamot, tarragon, which tarragon usually I love. It's also very anise-like. Tarragon has this green anise-like quality, almost slightly licorice that I don't get here. I don't get tarragon at all. Maybe fig and maybe violet leaf. Sage, I really don't get much sage either. I do get this powdery orris. There's orris root, so it's powdery. Orange blossom also can lend to this. Slightly powdery, but orange blossom usually feels more like maybe a bit of like laundry musk sometimes. It can come across feeling that way. It can also feel very fresh. Maybe some orange blossom. Peony, no. Peach blossom, I think those are notes that they share in common with Dia Man. Not yet, but maybe as it blooms a little bit, I will. Rose, Gaiac wood, heliotrope. See, heliotrope is usually very textured. It's usually very spongy. I'm not getting that heliotrope either. Sandalwood, vanilla, frankincense, white musk, and cedar. I'm definitely feeling like there's some white musk in here. So, I won't send this to everybody, but I was just reading a text message from Allie who sent me these. And she says that Renaud Salman sent her a message saying that he's working on 2 more exceptional extrays, which is one of the ones we're going to try today, Honor 43, which is the last one we'll try because it's a white floral. But he says he's working on 2 new exceptional extrays that will be, that he still needs more time to finalize. Interesting. Very interesting. I think I'm liking Bracken Woman more than Dia Woman right now, which is kind of shocking. I was expecting it to kind of be the other way around. But I think I'm liking Bracken more. Yeah, I didn't even think about Musc de Sablas, but you're right. You're right about that, Luis. You are 100% spot on. There is a little bit of that Musc de Sablas in there, isn't there? That's a very good catch, Luis. Very good. There is a little bit of that. And because the ingredients come from, I can never think of Remy's house, Francois Mathieu, whatever it's called. I could totally see there being a connection with Musc de Sablas. I think I like Musc de Sablas and Bel Homme about the same too. They're both really good fragrances. Yeah, how about you send Mike V your big bottle, Rich? Mike will send you back a mini. How's that? Seems fair. The brand Ramstein is apparently releasing great fragrances. You should check it out. I heard about that. I heard about that. We'll say Mr. Abdoli. I heard about the brand Ramstein putting out some good stuff. There was also a fragrance that Chris from Scentland talked about called Motorhead Man that I would really like to smell. So this is turning into this basically musky floral fragrance to me. Dia Woman is. It's turning into this white musk, very powdery because of the orris root. It feels very traditional. I don't even know what I would compare it to, but it feels very old school traditional. You know what I mean? Like, the internet says it's similar to Salvador Dali for Women from 1983, which I've never smelled, so I can't speak to that. But it is definitely not what I was expecting. I don't get a lot of the notes. I don't get sage. I don't get tarragon. I don't get that peony note that I do in Dia Man, at least not yet. But peony is a very soft floral, so maybe I'll get it soon. I definitely don't get heliotrope. Heliotrope is usually very, you know, like you're taking a mold of your teeth and they kind of pull it out and it keeps the mold. Like, it's that kind of feel. I don't get that here at all. It's more white musk and florals on me right now. I think I prefer Bracken Woman, actually, between the two. Bracken Woman, I don't know who did that one. Dia Woman says it's a Jean-Claude Ellena. So there's something very traditional about this Jean-Claude Ellena. I think if you're somebody who likes, you know how Eugene used to always talk about there being this connection with him in very soft perfumes, skin scents almost. I think Eugene would really like Dia Woman. It's it feels even softer to me than Dia Man, which Dia Man gets a bad rap for being very soft. Dia Man, I think, has more legs than Dia Woman so far. Dia Woman is very soft, but I could see this also being very elegant, and I'm very curious about what the dry down. You know, the orris root, because of its powdery nature mixed with the white musk, almost gives it this soapy quality. But it's mostly like white musks and florals on my skin. But I could completely see somebody saying that Dia Woman smells kind of soapy. Very interesting. I love Debaser, but I'm not too sure how realistic a fig note is. Wonderful green fragrance, though. Interesting. Yeah. I've never smelled it, Norwin. I have Premier Figuier Vintage by L'Artisan. It is a wonderful Olivier Jacobetti. I have not smelled that, Dushan. Anyone smelled Passage d'Enfer by L'Artisan? No, I have not. No, don't want to swap. Just curious if you had any. I'll have to look that one up, Dushan. But Chanel isn't niche, right? They are designer. Yeah, they are designer, but the less exclusives, I would say, is niche. But that's the only thing that's the only one I can think of. Can anyone else think of any niches? I don't know. The time it took you to think for an answer says more than 1,000 words. Yes, it does. I honestly can't think of one at all. I mean, you would have to go indie, right? You would have to go indie or like a real targeted niche house like Eugene's or Darren Allen or, you know, Aries Ladore or Bortnikoff. And that's just where I'd rather give my money to now, because the prices have become so outrageous. You know, I mean, if you're going to give Roja 750 pounds for Great Britain, why not do what I do? Do what I did and spend $400, spend half of it, pocket the difference, and get vintage Cuir de Russie, you know, the one that it was referenced on, like, you know, the fragrance, the classic fragrance that he was trying to recreate. Spend half the money, get the original, and pocket the difference. You know, I mean, that's kind of what it's turned into, unfortunately. Crazy. You're exactly right, Paulus. Crazy times in the fragrance game. And I think that's why, you know, you'll see me wearing stuff like vintage Calvin, or you'll see me wearing stuff like, you know, the older Amouages, or, Bally Masculine. This is such a great fougere with leather in it. No one talks about, you know, if you're going to spend that kind of money anyways, why not go get vintage Fahrenheit? Why not go get vintage Bel Ami? Why not go get vintage Antaeus or Shalimar or, you know, Heritage or Abbey Rouge or Vetiver? Guerlain's vintage Guerlain Vetiver is unbelievable. You know, why not go spend the money there instead of giving it to Amouage for their, you know, exceptional extrait? Ooh, exceptional extrait. You know, it's just, that's my issue with the whole situation, Palace. And it is an issue. It's a problem, you know. I spent 80 bucks on this. People are trying to sell it, this Bella Versailles. People are trying to sell this Pure Parfum online for a G. There's literally a bottle of Russian Oud right now on eBay for a G, a grand. They want $1,000 for this. I think it was 200 bucks when it came out. You know, it's just, that's the situation, that everything that came out long ago, everything that came out long ago that is no more, the price just skyrockets, you know. But when you look at the price of some of the niche houses, you can still find vintages. Like I got this for 100 bucks a couple years ago, $100. And it's the Calvin Klein Cosmetics. You probably can't see it, but it is Calvin Klein Cosmetics Corp. It's the cologne, not the aftershave. Stuff like this is amazing. For a frag head, you don't need niche. You know, you never used to have niche anyways back in the day. There was no niche. You know, there was Chanel, Guerlain, Caron, Ubigant, you know, Parfums d'Orsay and stuff like that. There was no niche. Then the funnel cake in Bel Ami appears in the dry down, really syrup style aura sweet. My brother told me it reminded him of Yop. Oh, really? I never got that sweetness in Bel Ami as it dried down. Interesting. I'll tell you what, though, Dia Woman is smelling more and more like a high-end soap. I don't think I'm a big fan, but I do like Bracken Woman. It's very berry. Beautiful berry perfume. I think the patchouli and the vetiver and the birch in Bracken Woman really keep that berryness from being overly done. Like, you know, sometimes you smell something and you're like, oh, that's a girly fragrance, or it's really feminine, or it's too sweet, or it's too designerish, or, you know, berries. When I think of berries, I think it's easy for people to think that, oh, they're getting something, you know, berry sweet from the designer that comes in some candy-like bottle and it's got pink writing all over it. But the way Amouage did the berry note here, balancing it with the birch, patchouli, vetiver, and leather, I think is brilliant, because there are florals in here, but they're different types of florals. They're lily, which you don't see just lily very often, narcissus, so you get that daffodil, and chamomile. Very interesting trio of florals in the heart. Dia Woman, I think Eugene would really like this as a lover of Hermes and Jean-Claude, Ellena, and soft perfumes. I think someone like Eugene would really like Dia Woman, but it's not for me. I don't think it's for me. Yeah, that's the thing, is it's just, I can't think of any. I honestly can't think of any niche houses that I trust right now. I don't trust MFK. Maybe Eldo, you know, but I haven't smelled their new, they have a new line too of fragrances that comes in a bottle. It's like red and blue and like, you know, more colorful presentation. And those are like double the price or something. Vanilla Van for niche perfume. There's Paris Monte Carlo, Serge Lutens. Even Serge Lutens, they don't. Serge Lutens doesn't deliver in the United States anymore. Ah, here's one. Jovoy. Jovoy fragrances I still trust. Now, I already own all the ones I want to own. This is actually 21 Conduit Street, probably my least favorite Jovoy fragrance I own, but this was sent to me by someone from the channel very kindly. Someone sent me this bottle as a friend, and so I like this, but I trust the house of Jovoy. There's one. That would probably be my answer. If Jovoy is counted as a niche house, I trust them. I trust Jovoy. I think you get good quality ingredients, never have to worry about reformulation. If something changes, they discontinue. Like they discontinued, here, let me show you. They discontinued, so this is a fragrance called L'Enfant Terrible, the terrible child. And this is almost like a niche take on Féminité du Bois. One of the best sandalwoods I've ever smelled from a like designer / niche house, not counting Russian Atom, Arise Ladore, all that stuff is in this. This is brilliant, milky sandalwood. But it does have cumin. That's the terrible child, is the cumin. And you know, it will remind you of Féminité du Bois. It's a little bit more milky. And but if you've ever thought, man, I wish I had like an old bottle of Féminité du Bois back when it was under Shiseido instead of Serge Lutens, this is your answer. But whenever I guess things changed, or maybe it didn't sell because this is kind of challenging, they just discontinued it. You know, they didn't reformulate it. And I own Les Jus Sans Fates, Psychedelique, Private Label, Incident Diplomatique. I love them all. And 21 Conduit Street was sent to me, and then L'Enfant Terrible makes 6. So yeah, this is a niche house I can get behind that I still trust. But I mean, Nishane, Creed, Amouage, Roja, MFK, Spirit of Dubai. I mean, I don't trust them. I don't trust where they're going, you know. But I do trust Les Indemodables. I do trust Jovoy. MDCI, that's a good shout. MDCI, I actually own no full bottles of MDCI. The only one I have is I've got some decants. Like, for example, I've got a 30 ml of Invasion Barbar, which is very, very good. And I've got a 30 ml of Chypre Palatin, and that's it. I don't own any full bottles of MDCI. These are both full bottle worthy for me. They're both full bottle worthy. And there's actually a third MDCI that I've got a 10 ml decant of that no one talks about. And it's called, whoops, that's not it. It is called, what is it called? Here it is. It's called L'Elegant. I talked about this yesterday, I think. This is a really good take on like Middle Eastern style, like woody. I don't want to say woody amber. I think Rich Mitch might hate this because maybe there are some woody ambers in there, but I think it's pretty well done. I don't think it's poorly done. So yeah, MBCI, I can get behind that. I can get behind MDCI. There's some frankincense and pepper in L'Elegant with labdanum, honey, and iris with oud, you know, MDCI oud, cistus, cashmeran, And it was done by Irene Farmacidi. So yeah, MDCI, that's a good shout too. Duchan, that's a good shout. All right, let's get the third one on my skin, and then we'll catch up on the comments. My very, very weak answer would be maybe Nishane. I mean, Nefs is not that old and still good. Yeah, I was thinking Nishane because of I like Sultan Vetiver, and I like Fan Your Flames. Ani, I've kind of grown out of favor for, even though I like even though I own a bottle. That may be a sell. That may be I need to do a review on it and sell it type fragrance, but I've never smelled that house, Ringo. What is that? What is that Chypre Shot house from? It is Chypre Shot. Olfactive Studio. Never smelled it. It's a Bertrand Duchefort, though. So I'm sure you can't go wrong there. I'll put it on the wish list. All right, let me get this Figment Woman on my skin here. Figment Woman, left elbow. Okay. Yeah, Dia Woman is just, it really does smell like a expensive high-end soap. Let's hope Figment Woman is more interesting. Here we go. Let's go, baby. All right, Figment Woman. Oh, it's more interesting, all right. I like how there's a theme about their fragrances too, you know? Like right out of the atomizer, Figment Woman feels like it does have a little bit in common with Figment Man. It doesn't have that big, bold civet opening like Figment Man has. This is done by two perfumers, actually. Figment Woman is done by Dorothée Piot and Karine Vinchon-Spehner. And there is a little bit of funk coming out right away. It's not as strong or as in your face as Figment Man. My view on Byredo is buy something else. Yeah, I totally agree. I'm not a fan of Byredo at all. Like I said, I own none of their bottles. I have Byredo Gypsy Water, and it's not so bad. Women in my country like to wear it, but it's so weak. I've never smelled it. This Figment Woman is nice. Apparently, it's got Sichuan pepper, but I don't really get very much Sichuan pepper. I do get the white florals, though. So it opens up with white florals, and it smells like it opens up with some animalics and white florals, which you wouldn't think I would like, but I really like it. It's gardenia, tuberose, jasmine sambac, orange blossom, ylang ylang, iris. There's 6 floral notes in here with cassia, which can sometimes come across as kind of dry and pissy. So there's a bit of that, you know, civet can sometimes smell pissy as well, like I mentioned with the civet and Figment Man. Here, I think the pissiness comes from a different place. I don't think it's civet, or if it is, they really toned it down. They didn't list it in the note listing. They really toned it down. I think it's that what's it called, black currant leaf or whatever that note is that gives it that pissy vibe. Very hard to work with that note. Apparently, there's also Sichuan pepper, which I don't get. Well, maybe just a little bit, but it's in the background. I get a lot more Sichuan pepper from something like Journeyman, for example. There's a lot of Sichuan pepper in this. And there's also a great amount of Sichuan pepper in Tom Ford's Noir Anthracite. That's a beautiful Sichuan pepper opening. Here, it feels like it's kind of, you know, it's kind of playing the supporting role. It doesn't kind of jump out and hit you like it does in Journeyman and Noir Anthracite. And I do really like Sichuan pepper, but if you really have to, I think, like white florals to like this one, because the Gardenia Tuberose and Jasmine Sambac are right there. But to be fair, it's not a white floral like I would imagine a white floral. There's a lot more going on, and it feels like it's kind of counteracting that white floral fear that many people have. There's some spiciness to it. I think that must be the Sichuan pepper that gives it this spiciness, maybe even the cassia, or I think cassia is the black currant leaves, if I'm not mistaken. I really like Byredo's Mumbai Noise. It's the only full bottle I own from the brand Nice Coffee Divana. Ooh, never smelled it. Perfume Perry. Dear Woman is like Gold Woman's younger sister. I could see that. I could totally see that, Benji. Yeah, I think honestly, I just prefer Gold Man for the same reason that I prefer Figment Man. The civet is turned up in both. There is definitely some of Gold Man in Dia Woman. No doubt about it. There is definitely some of that in there. Yeah, I think I prefer the men's versions on Figment and Dia. But if you're a fan of soapy fragrances, you should try this Dia Woman. As far as Figment Woman goes, maybe if you wanted to try a white floral that smelled like no other white floral you've ever smelled, you know, Figment Woman might be something to put on the to sniff list. I don't think I would buy this though. The white florals are just too prominent. They're just too prominent for me. A Portos Mini, a Ladis Mini. I've never seen a mini of Balenciaga Pour Homme. Interesting. Even Amouage has never seen a mini of Balenciaga Pour Homme. Very interesting. I've listened to you, Ramsey. I've received Accord du Désert Marocain. I love it much better than LDDM. Thanks, Richard. When you have you channel, you expect more. Yes, that's right. I know exactly what you mean. Honestly, I love them both. But Accord du Désert is one I'm really glad I grabbed, especially with the potential price increases going on, Ringo. So I'm glad you like it. And actually, what's interesting is if you go back after wearing it and wear LDDM, I think you will maybe even appreciate some more facets of Le Désert Marocain. It's like your brain can better deconstruct it. It's a tough fragrance to break down. I like Thomas's from Early Greeks breakdown of LDDM. He basically says that the fragrance goes on this arc, you know, where you think you know the way that the arc of the fragrance is going, and then the ambergris like locks the fragrance into place, like freezes it mid-arc. So it just kind of freezes it, and you can walk around it, you can look at the fragrance, it just freezes it in time. And I know exactly what he means. There is something about Andy Tauer's ambergris that has that freezing effect. It's a great fragrance. I love it. Like being just frozen halfway over the Moroccan desert and looking down on things, you know. Beautiful fragrance. Bought 2 Balenciaga Portos Mini at a local shop in Niagara a few years ago. Interesting. And here's Redolescence with his new video, rich and spicy amber fragrances with his eyes are violet. Amouage is in the house. Accord du Désert for the cold, LDDM for the warmer. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. That's a good trio. Good way to mix and match. On Fig and Coco Rico. Yeah, Coco Rico does have Fig. You're right. You're exactly right. I don't get much of it though. It's kind of just there as a secondary note. I think to kind of help you get into the fragrance. Like it really does start smelling like Coco Rico really does start smelling like L'Instant de Guerlain, Eau Extreme very quickly. You know, if the fig note is there, maybe you'll notice it for a couple minutes and that's it. So yeah, I mean, if you're going for a fig fragrance, don't go for that. I love the creamy green fig and Marc Jacobs Man and Tom Ford Extreme. I would love a bottle of Tom Ford Extreme, Remington. Good to see you in the chat, my friend. Good to see you in the chat. It's been a while. Yeah, I really want a bottle of Tom Ford Extreme. You just hit a nerve there, buddy. I'm liking what Figment Woman is drawing down to. It's like this creamy, and yet the iris adds this level of poshness to it. Like it makes the fragrance three-dimensional, you know? Sometimes fragrances can feel 2D. Iris adds that third dimension to it. And here, now that the iris, which also smells slightly peppery, by the way, even though I didn't get much Sichuan pepper in the opening, I'm getting it now. It feels like it's kind of mixing with the iris, like Sichuan pepper, peppery iris, and white florals. It's actually really beautiful, like a creamy white floral with 3D iris and smoky papyrus. Very nice. I think my favorite is still Bracken Woman so far. Just because I already own Gold Man by Amouage, and I own Gold Woman, and I own this little bad boy, which is called Amouage Gentleman's Cologne, Gentleman's EDT. This is the vintage cologne version that they put out in the mid-90s in a tester format. And it has that same kind of DNA. I don't think I would go for a bottle of Dia Woman. This is probably my least favorite so far. Second favorite is probably Figment Woman, and Bracken Woman's number one right now. All right, let me catch up on the comments, and then we'll put the final white floral bomb on me. Honor 43. Rachel says she loves this fragrance. A little scared, honestly. Have you tried Vetkov's fig? Never even heard of it, Dushan. The house name is L'Atelier de Maitries. There you go. I'll never be able to say it, Ringo, but thank you for that. Did Guar or Sepultura ever release a fragrance? I see you, man. We see you, Remington. Does anyone get the fig in Furio? There is no fig in Furio. No way. Don't say that. No way. Absolutely not. I refuse to believe it. There's nothing in Furio but dragon piss and nuclear waste. That's it. Mike V, Iron Maiden released a frag called Eddie. It's very metallic. Yeah, I know Eddie's their mascot. So if you ever look at a Iron Maiden album, Eddie is the mascot. He's on all of their covers, all of their albums. We see you, Amouage. Heavy metallic. I really like Iron Maiden. I have Dia in my collection, but prefer number 5 when in that mood. You have Dia Woman. Interesting. Yeah, there is a little bit of number 5 in here. There's a little bit of L'Enfant Arpege, just a little bit. There's a little bit of number 5. It's like aldehydic soap. It's like aldehydic floral soap is what it smells like. I really don't like it. Figment Woman is getting better, but it's a creamy, peppery, incensey white floral. I'm living the old house of Lodges en Parfait at the address Passage d'Enfer, which is a private road in Paris. No shit, Ringo. That is a unbelievable fun fact. The That is absolutely unbelievable. You need to come on one day and show us around. Give us the tour. I'd almost give my left you-know-what for vintage Cuir de Russie. It is that good. But to be fair, I prefer the vintage EDT. The vintage EDT talks more to me. However, if you are in love with the way that Chanel used to do those florals back in the day, 50, 100 years ago, the Chanel florals had that DNA. The florals in Cuir de Russie Eau de Cologne are some of the best I've ever smelled. I mean, it's out of this world good, but I prefer more of the animalic leathery aspects, and they come out much heavier in the eau de toilette, personally. Eugene, Dushan, hey, can we see that 8 mil Val de Nuit? I'm thinking about getting that. It is awesome. It is absolutely unreal. One of the best things I've ever smelled, ever. Not just like now, but I mean, of all time. It's that good. I mean, I really like the eau de toilette, but the Pure Parfum, the Extrait, takes it to another level. I think this is one of my favorite green fragrances of all time. It comes in this little box like this. And voila, there she sits. Oh, what Guerlain used to be, man. What a house. They never should have allowed LVMH to weasel their way in, So you can see I probably have 6 mils left. I think it was 8 mils originally. Probably have 6 mils left. Oh my God. It is so classy. Everything. That Galbanum. One of my favorite Galbanum fragrances of all time. This is what I think set the stage for the Galbanum kind of takeoff for the rest of the houses. Like just a decade later, Dior released Miss Dior, which also has that Galbanum, but Val de Nuit Extrait was mind-blowing, mind-opening juice. I wish I had 100 mils. Or I wish I had 30 mils, so I feel like I could use it more. With that thing, I'm like, one spray, and usually I'm like, but not with that, man. Eugene, the man himself. Yeah, he's hopping on and off. I think he's bouncing in and bouncing out. He's lurking a little bit, probably filling you guys' orders, probably filling your Dessandra's orders. Me being in my 30s, when I first time saw you speaking about Vintage Boss or Calvin, my first reaction was, wait, there was a time when these brands were good. Oh, you're right. Vintage Hugo Boss #1. Oh my God. I mean, that is like a fragrance made for me. It's made for the Ram. I'm taking Dessandra's in a few days. I'm taking Dessandra's in a few days. Can't wait to smell it. Oh yeah, you're gonna dig it, man. You're gonna dig it, Ringo. I'll let you know. I've been here since the morning anthem. Even Tommy Hilfiger pops out sometimes. Yeah, the old Tommies, right? I know what you mean. They was a misunderstanding of the name by Persolaise. In 2 words is from the ashes, but in 1 word is going fawn in French. Interesting. And what's the hottest vintage on the market right now? Zoologist? Pure Distance? Pure Distance is an interesting shout, Benji. Yeah, I would maybe put that in the maybe bucket, along with MDCI and Jovoy. Yeah, Pure Distance can go in the maybe bucket. Zoologist, I don't think I would put in that top tier, unfortunately. Jovoy, I would put there. Yeah, Zoologist is maybe a little more indie. I don't know how to classify them, to be honest. We are scrapping for something, Dushan. My big sellers, Teatro alla Scala, Giacomo di Giacomo, Christian Lacroix. Are you talking about this Christian Lacroix? This little mini that I have here. what's this one called? Tumulte. This is probably one of the better cedar fragrances I've smelled. This is like 4 types of cedar in a bottle. I need to wear this soon. It's a really good designer cedar. Really good designer cedar. It's just ridiculously expensive. There's no need to pay $250 for 30 mil or $400 for 50 mil. You know, if you get it for $100, go for it. Dushan, you don't have Teatro alla Scala. Oh, dude, you are in for a treat, my friend. Just send me the bill. Send me the bill, dude. You're going to love it. I've never smelled Vespero, but I do like this one. It's called Ligno. And Ligno kind of smells like a take on it smells like Killian. I can't even think of the name. They have such weird names. Killian Straight to Heaven Extreme. I have a bottle, actually. I have a bottle of Straight to Heaven Extreme. This is like, if you don't want to spend $500 on Straight to Heaven Extreme, I don't think you can buy Straight to Heaven Extreme anymore. Anyways, you can get Straight to Heaven, but it's even weaker. Spend $100 and get 30 mils of Ligno. It'll do the same job. Or I did a video on a Tiziana Terenzi called Ursa, I think. I think it's called Ursa. That smells kind of like Straight to Heaven Extreme. So yes, long and short is interesting brand. But I've never smelled that Vespero you're talking about. Are you selling to France? Amouage sells everywhere, Ringo. Most asked, sought after, all the usual unicorn suspects. Vintage, Koros, Antaeus Sport, Tiffany, blah, blah. Do you get sick of that, Amouage? Do you get sick of having to say nope? All right, let me put Honor 43 on my right elbow. It's beginning. The white floral attack. Da-da, da-da, da-da. Oh, white. Oh my God, that is white floral. Oh, this would send Rich Mitch into a coma. I don't even have to put it to my nose. I mean, it's nice white floral, but Jesus, that is a white floral. I think of church. I think of older women. It's a well done white floral, but wow, that is white floral. Believe it or not, though, because it has such character, such chutzpah, you know, I think I like it more than Dia Woman. Dia Woman is just kind of boring. This is going to come down to the 2 white florals, Figment Woman or Honor 43. Ooh, this is going to be a tough call here. Wow. And of course, most of the unicorns are long sold out. Hoso, please leave me your contact. Be on the lookout for that new 23 Tom Ford release called Ramsey Cherry. Chypre Cherry with animalics. Can't wait. I bet you I could make that good. I bet you I could. An animalic Chypre with cherry. I bet you that would smell like the bomb. A ram bomb. Not sure it will come up in the chat. You can reach out to Ramsey for my contact. Yeah. Just drop me an email and I'll pass along Amouage's contact to you, Ringo. My email is in the description of all of my videos. Nasomato might be one of the interesting ones, but have not smelled their latest. That's a good shout too. Okay, I'm going to make a note. So we had, someone said, I said Jovoy. Someone else said MDCI. And someone else said Nasomato. You could say Nasomato slash wow, that is so traditional white floral, but it feels like maybe the white florals with the indolics taken out. Like it doesn't have that shitty aftertone that you'll get with indolics sometimes. There was one other someone else said that I thought was a good shout, but I forget what it was. Yeah, I don't know how to reduce the brightness. I can reduce the brightness of the light, maybe. But yeah, I don't know how to reduce the brightness of the camera, unfortunately. Unfortunately, what if I turn off the light? We'll do ghost story time with Ramsey. Everyone gather around. Get your marshmallows and your gingerbread. Let's make some s'mores. Of course, we were talking about dia means daylight. Man, this is tough. I think into the day, Monsieur strong, Arnold, very strong. I'm gonna wear and do some early impressions on some of the stuff that you sent me soon. I really want to wear that Serge Noir. That Serge Noir seems very interesting. Someone told me this was Serge Lutton's signature scent. So yes, I'm very excited to test these. Maybe tomorrow, while we're stuck in snow days, I don't have to go to the office. Maybe I'll do like an early impression. I have so many early impressions to do, though. It's unbelievable. That's why I'm going to start lumping them together into these live videos. There's just too much. There's too much to do one by one. I'll never get through these Amouages. Better Arnold than Schwarzenegger. I see one Amouage behind you. I can't stand Sunshine. Oh my God, I love Sunshine Man Palace. I would take 15 sprays of Figment to the face before 3. Please don't ban me. Yeah, I love Sunshine though, dude. I think it's actually the reason I don't own a bottle of Eau Noir, because I think it does that lavender slash immortelle thing with the Sunshine is so good, dude. You need to give it another chance. Hey, Ram, hope you're well, my friend. Just got a vintage bottle of Patou's Joy. Very excited to smell it for the first time. It is one of the best animalic florals of all time. Joy actually shares something in common with Goldman, to me, to my nose. But Guy Robert, who made Goldman, was a big lover of the vintage florals like L'Enfant Arpege and Joy and stuff like that. So that does make sense. It makes a lot of sense. We can only be subjective. That's right. Everyone has their own tastes. Whether anyone in FratCom wants to admit it or not, the power of suggestion, description, notes, breakdown is a very real thing that oftentimes influence. Yes, that's true. You're right. You're exactly right. Like, I haven't looked at the notes of Honor 43 yet. I'm basically getting a ton of white florals with coconutty, musky, maybe something a little bit green, like, but just a touch, almost like you're smelling like the green stem of the flower itself. Like someone cut the stem on the flower, and gave you the whole flower, and you're not just smelling the flower, you're smelling the stem. That is unbelievable, you guys. I am shocked. I don't ban anyone, at least not yet. Going down. It's a French tradition. Going down. Okay. Desandra. Interesting. It's one word instead of Desandra. Interesting. Okay. Not to multi, I mean the original classic Christian La Croix for women. The bottle is shaped like a seashell. I've never seen that Amouage. That's popular. Crazy. Crazy. I think it reminds me of something unpleasant from my childhood. Candy. There's like a candy it reminds me of. And I can't think of which candy it is. But I actually think it's candy. I think there's like some sweet that I ate that it kind of reminds me of. Look at the dent I put in here. I love Sunshine Man. Oh my God. It is so good. I think it's one of the best modern lavender fragrances. You know, obviously the old school Caron, Pour Un Homme for lavender and stuff like that. But for modern lavender, man, just give me Sunshine Man all day, every day. I love this stuff. I think it's brilliant. But you do not have to like it. That's the best part about fragrances. It's all very subjective. Frederick Mall was responsible for the presentation of that liqueur. Interesting. I buy Bry. Thanks for sharing. I did not know that. Amouage's website. Hang on. I'll leave a banner. I already had it teed up even. How's that? Go to enchanteperfumes.com. Put in the special discount code. Love Ram. And no, there's no special discount code. Although there should be a special discount code, Amouage. Have your people get with my people. We'll make this happen. Let's see. Now, how do I get back? Comments. Here we go. The whole Christian Lacroix line did not sell well from what I understand. With Honor White Floral, Rich is out of moral. Yes, he is. Rich would have an absolute... He would be in an absolute state of cataclysmic shock if he had to smell Honor 43. It is everything he hates. I know it sounds weird, but Fig Leaf is listed on older Furio tester bottles. I don't get it either, by the way. Fig Leaf? Does Fig Leaf smell the same as fig? Obviously not, right? Yes, I'm well aware, and absolutely the Christian Lacroix fragrances were all flops sales-wise for the most part. Crazy. I am also testing Honor 43 right now. What do you think, Dushad? I don't think I like it. I don't think I like it at all. I think it's my least favorite of the exceptional parfums that I've smelled. I've only smelled a couple. What am I talking about? I've only smelled Epic 56. I haven't smelled Reflection 45. I haven't smelled Interlude 53. So I think it's only Epic and Honor are the two I've smelled. I much prefer Epic 56, I'll tell you that. The haunting of Redolence. Yep, Uji board. Amouage, Patel Amouage sells seashells by the lakeshore. Have you ever smelled any of Chanel's Pure Parfum Vintage Bois? No, I have not. But I believe you when you say it's the best sandalwood in the world, honestly. You know, the best sandalwood in the world for me that I've ever smelled, no shit. Just straight up 100% truth, man. Outside of like the pure sandalwood oil that I got sent by Russian Adam, like the real sandal in a composition, I mean, the best sandalwood I've ever smelled is Santal Galore. Santal Galore is... I did a video on Santal Galore. It is everything I said and more. It's perfect for me. That durian fruit in the top, you can see the little pieces almost. The durian fruit like sticks to the side. And the oud with the oh my God, the Mysore sandalwood in here is just stunning. Absolutely stunning. Beautiful. Wish I had a bottle. I also wish I had a bottle of Malik Al Taif. This is my favorite rose fragrance. Oh, fuck. So yeah, that's the thing is, you know, when you compare, it's so hard to put stuff like, you know, the people who love the Ensar EO2 has a lot of followers. Many people say this is the best musk fragrance of all time. I did a video on it. I completely enjoyed it. But for me, I prefer Siberian musk. But you notice very rarely do you say, oh, you know, this fragrance has the best sandalwood of all time and it's a designer or something like that. But I could totally see vintage Bois d'Azil, you know, Extrait being that amazing. In my fragrance journey, at a point where I felt as though there was too much overlap in the scent profiles of that bottles that I own. Now I realize that I wasn't being a true collector. There are overlaps. You're right. You have to pick and choose unless you have unlimited funds. You have to pick and choose. You have to pick the ones you like, you know, leave stuff behind that, you know, Rich Mitch is doing a good job, I think, of transitioning away from stuff he bought that maybe he didn't truly love or he isn't wearing, to his credit. I haven't been able to really do that. I've only tried to sell 3 fragrances so far. I sent them to Moudessir, and none of them have sold yet. But, you know, so I'm trying to start to kind of get rid of some of the ones that aren't being worn or that I've just outgrown, or like I had Mancera Cedrat Boise. Why did I have that? You know, that kind of stuff, and trying to get rid of them. So, Fetiche Parfum. We talked about that one earlier. Beautiful fig note in there, Abaz. Good to see you, my friend. Well, I could not kiss even Liz Moore's neck if she would wear Honor 43. Honestly, I don't like it. No offense, Rachel. Okay. No offense to you. I really respect you and your opinions, and we'll have to agree to disagree on this one. But for me, Honor 43 is not for me. It's basically a creamy white floral, is the way I would describe it. Creamy white floral. They say there's pepper in the top. I don't get very much pepper. They say there's rhubarb leaf and coriander. Maybe that's where that green touch I was telling you about is coming from. They say there's jasmine, definitely. Tuberose, definitely. Gardenia, definitely. Lily of the Valley, yes. Carnation, maybe that's also where some of that greenness is coming from. Sandalwood, labdanum, vetiver, frankincense, apopanax, and leather. I wish it was heavier on the frankincense, apopanax, and leather, because I'm just getting this creamy white floral, maybe slightly peppery and slightly green. And that's it. So this first 4 batches that I picked actually was kind of a dud. Dia Woman smells like an expensive soap. I wouldn't buy that. Figment. I think my favorite is Bracken Woman with that berry. The patchouli's coming out more now. Or I notice it more now that I'm smelling some of the other things. Bracken Woman's my favorite from this 4 batch, and Figment Woman is runner-up. Figment Woman is also a white floral, but it feels like there's a little bit more going on around it. You know, I like the Sichuan pepper touch instead of just the black pepper, and I really like that iris papyrus combination in the base with patchouli. So even though it's a white floral, it has more going on for it. Whereas for me, at least the first, and this is just an early impression, but the first 15 minutes or whatever of Honor 43 being on my skin, I'm just getting a creamy white floral. Not really my thing. Do you like the fig note? We were talking about that earlier, Abaz. From this Amouage sample set that I have, Epic 56, if you have the exceptional extrays, then yes, Epic 56 is the best I've smelled so far too. It's really, really good. It's very close to being on par with the original EDP. I'm so glad to have this, man. I found this vintage bottle from Moudessir. You can tell it's an older bottle because it says Oman Perfumery LLC right here, whereas the newer bottles of Amouage say SAOC. Let's see what the new ones say. What do the new ones say? They say Amouage SAOC. So yes, if you can find these older ones that only say Oman Perfumery LLC, that would be preferable. And man, this is so good. I love Epic Woman. And Epic 43 was very good. I did a comparison video between them. You can go check that out. I wouldn't get 43 because I have this, though. If I didn't have this, that would be tough to either go for a vintage or, you know, go for the Epic 56. This is actually my only snap cap Amouage Fate Woman. Oh, it's so good, though. I'm so glad to have this. So cool having at least one snap cap Amouage. Awesome. That's good stuff. So let's go through them again. Bracken Woman is my favorite of this four for sure because of that berry. I still don't know what a Bracken note is, but the leathery touch with the patchouli, which seems to be amped up a bit. Slight touch of smoke from the birch and vetiver. Very, very well done. Bracken Woman is a winner for sure. I wish I knew who the perfumer was. Dia Woman is a Jean-Claude Ellena from 2002, and it's a flop for me. Just smells like powdery floral soap. And Figment Woman is the runner-up. It's got that white floral accord, jasmine and tuberose and gardenia, but it also has pepper and saffron in the top. It smells more than just a creamy white floral because of that iris, papyrus, frankincense. It's slightly smoky. I don't get the dark deepness of papyrus. You know, papyrus usually has this deep, dark, smoky light quality to it. Green, you know, papery. I don't get that. I don't get the papyrus, but I do get a little bit of the iris and a little bit of patchouli. That's good enough for me for now. And Honor 43, it's just a creamy white floral, maybe a touch of pepper. I wish I got more labdanum and a Papanax, and maybe that'll come out later in leather, and maybe it'll transition, but this is not for me. Honor 43 is not for me. But I do have to give a special thank you to Ali, who sent me these four, you know, and we'll do this live stream again, and we'll pick four more because I got a bunch to go through. And maybe we'll do the same thing with like Fortin Manley and, you know, some of these Thierry Mugler's that I don't have full bottles of, like Pure Tonka. I would love a bottle of Pure Tonka, by the way. Pure Wood, which I don't have a bottle of, and Ultra Zest, which I don't have a bottle of. So maybe we'll do this style of kind of blind sniffing, not blind sniffing, but trying things for, if not the first time in a long time. Some of this stuff sat up there on my shelf for a while. So it'll be a good way to knock out some of these samples and still get my thoughts on paper and get to interact with you guys on the live stream. So yes, I think that's a winning combination, a good way to knock out a bunch of samples. And you guys love the live streams. You've made that very, very clear. So for me, it'll be a way to kind of knock out a couple birds with one stone. Let me catch up on the comments, and then I got to go eat. I'm hungry. It's part of the Roja-ing up. It is part of the Roja-ing up. You're right. You're right, Abaz. I'm glad that's caught on. It's really the only way to describe what he does, right? He rojas it up. He took Bel Ami, rojed it up with Fétiche Pour Homme. It's a very good scent. I love it. I like what I like. You know what I mean? If you like Bel Ami, you will like Fétiche Pour Homme. If you like Heritage by Guerlain, you will like Danger. You know, it is what it is. But it's more the matter of, is the price worth it? Do you think it's, you know, intellectual theft to kind of do what he's doing and claiming it's his own work, which it is. Obviously, it is his own work, but they're so similar. Go watch Ouch 110's reviews of the Rojas on his channel. And he basically said the same thing. He was shocked at how close one of them was to Samsara, you know, that kind of thing. So that's the problem with Roja. But if you like that scent profile, you'll dig it. Like if you like Bel Ami like I do, you'll love Fétiche Pour Homme. A lot of houses have the same smell. Same houses are built on copying others without, some houses are built on copying others without being a clone house like Initio, Maitre Premier. Yes, that's a good shout, Paulus. Totally agree. And there's a lot of houses like Maitre Premier I'd love to dive into. They have a lot of fragrances I've never smelled before, but I want to. That's a house that I seem like I could respect. You know what I mean? So EO Tibetan Musk smells like pan masala, which is sort of an Indian mouth freshener cigarette hawkers sell on carts to get rid of smoker's breath. That's pretty funny, dude. I've never smelled EO1 Tibetan Musk. So far now, I've done videos on 4 NSARs. It was EO1 and EO2. EO1, EO1 Assam, I think it was called. Let's see. I think I wrote it down. Maybe I didn't. Thought I did. Let's see. Yeah, I did. It was EO1 Assam. So EO1, EO2, EO1 Assam, Jungle Kinam. And then I've also talked, I haven't done a video yet, I don't think, but I've also talked a lot about Tiger Lust from NSAR. So I'll do a video on Tiger Lust soon if I haven't done one yet. I don't think I have. I think I was waiting to get to know that one better because it's very complex and I really, really like it. So yeah, I never smelled Tibetan Musk, but I would love to. I'm not going to pay his prices. It's frustrating when you smell the new hot stuff and you can name 3 other brands with the same smell. Yes, it is. I actually went to a department store. I usually don't go to department stores. I hate going to stores and actually shopping, but my wife dragged me to the mall. I had a good time going with the family to the mall or whatever. And we went into a JCPenney, and I haven't done this for a while. And I just went up to the counter and I started chatting with the lady, and I was like, can I have some scent strips? So she gave them to me, and I went and sprayed Ralph's Club by Polo, right? Just complete shite. And I sprayed Ralph's Club and I put it down. I sprayed Polo Red, I put it down. I sprayed Spice Bomb, put it down. Sprayed Spice Bomb Night Vision, I put it down. Sprayed Spice Bomb Infrared, put it down. Sprayed L'Homme by YSL, put it down. Sprayed L'Homme, La Nuit de L'Homme, put it down. I had all of these strips lined up, right? Of just shite, mostly. Spice Bomb, of all of them, the original Spice Bomb, I think I liked the most from all of those that I smelled. My wife liked Ralph's Club the best, and I was like, oh God, I despise Ralph's Club. It's like a blend of all of the fragrances I hate into one is basically what it smells like. But I just went and just smelling them. And I also smelled Coach Platinum for Men or something. Shite. One of the worst ones actually that I've smelled. And so I'm sitting here like smelling them one by one by one by one. And when you smell them like back to back to back to back really fast like that, they really all do smell very, very similar. Like there's a lot of these molecules that these houses are using from the big oil houses, obviously, that are the same. They just kind of arrange them in slightly different ways. There's no one doing anything different. Everything's kind of a copy. It's kind of sad, really, for perfume lovers. It is a sad state of affair. That's why stuff like this happened. That's why these houses can get away with charging $1,000 or $500 or, $350, or because we demand more than the shit they're selling in the department stores is pretty tragic. You know what I mean? For a perfume lover. I mean, it's like being in a department store and smelling that stuff as a frag head is like waiting to die. You know what I mean? That's what it feels like. It feels like you're in the nursing home just waiting to die. Just smelling the same thing over and over and over and over. And it was funny because I was just kind of messing with the girl there. She was young and pretty good looking. So I was like, so do you have any recommendations? She's like, oh, yeah, I've got lots of recommendations. And I was like, oh, do you now? Tell me about what you like. She's like, well, I really like YSL. I was like, okay, which one do you like? YSL Y. This is the Eau de Parfum. And I was like, oh, God. You know what I mean? Like, And I'm like, well, do you have the parfum? And she's like, I think so. And she looks, she's like, yeah, this is the parfum. And I was like, smells exactly the same as the eau de parfum, you know, like basically nothing. It just smells like blue nothingness, completely devoid of character. Like YSL's entire point of creating YSLY was to take out every single thing that will, could have, or may offend or dislike anyone who's ever been born and whoever will be born in the future, and remove it from that fragrance so that all that's left is the most bland, boring, you know, just, if you couldn't build a more boring fragrance if you set out to try. I am convinced that that fragrance was built by a focus group who took every single group of people you can imagine into account. If it's a group of people and they exist, if there's 5 people together and they call themselves a group and they're offended by people with brown hair, they listen to that person and they took whatever offended them out of YSLY. And that's what they came up with. And it is shite. It's awful. And I smell it everywhere. And so it was just funny listening to the girl, you know, and yeah, I've got a bunch of recommendations. And I'm like, oh, fuck, just stop talking. Just stop talking. What Pan Masala are we talking about here? I really can't wear a scent that reminds me of Pan Masala because of that comparison to cheap Pan Masala. Last time the sales assistant raved about Louis Vuitton Ombre Nomad, it's just 99% copy of Aaron Terrence Hughes Onyx or 90% of Zorjos MTW. I did like Ombre Nomad, to be fair, but I like Nuit Defa better. Trust me, you don't want to and you won't respect them. Old Hind exactly smells like Pan Masala plus Indian grocery store full of different spices. I don't know about that, Omar. I've never smelled it, but I mean, that does not sound good. Best organic artisanal luxury Pan Masala one can imagine. I like fetish for sure. I also get an unsolicited compliment, which is rare. And verbatim, a colleague told me you smell like Sean Connery and James Bond. Apparently she likes James Bond. Yes, I've gotten compliments on fetish as well. Oh yeah, the sales assistant. Yeah, man, she and of course, I was asking her about things that she didn't know about, you know what I mean? So I was like, she showed me L'Homme and I was like, "Do you have La Nuit de L'Homme?" And she's like, "Do I have what? The other L'Homme?" And I was like, "No, do you have La Nuit de L'Homme?" She's like, "Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah." And then she started to act like she knew what she was talking about. And so yeah, I just can't, dude. I meant you won't respect Maitreya Premier. Ah, okay. That's interesting because I've heard good things about them. So, yep, agree with Bry. Nuit de Fa is the best Louis Vuitton, but Ombre Nomad is second. I'll tell you that. Ombre Nomad is second. All right, well, it's 2.5 hours. I think we did our Amouage. First 4 women's blind sniffing, first impressions, 1 hit, Bracken Woman, 1 okay, Figment Woman, and 2 thumbs down, Dia Woman, and Honor 43. Honor 43 is probably, if my grandmas were alive, that's probably what I would give them as a gift to wear to church. That's what it reminds me of. Not something I would wear or enjoy. If you are of the mind of not liking white florals, Honor 43 is definitely not for you. So that's round 1. We'll do round 2, maybe even tomorrow. We'll see how I feel. If my throat can get some honey and tea on it, talking for 2.5 hours straight, we'll get to you. So I appreciate everyone joining. I hope you enjoyed the live. Do lick the stream before you leave. It helps the stupid YouTube algorithm. And check you guys later. Peace.